let's get into it. Oh my God. We are so back. What's up, y'all, and welcome back to Somewhere Between with Heather Harris, where we are all somewhere between psychotic and iconic. I want it and I got it, and crashing out and locking in. And wherever this episode finds you today and you're somewhere between, I am so grateful that you are here. We are so back. We are so back. I know it's been a minute, been a while, but I'm so happy that we get to finally be here because I got to catch up on the things and whatever. Thank you for clicking on whatever you clicked on to get here, okay? Whether you are watching us on YouTube or listening to us where podcasts are offered on Spotify or Apple and all of those things. And yeah, let's get into this video because, child, I know it's been a minute. I bet y'all was like, this girl done forgot about us again. She ain't coming back. She did all the things, and now she don't even mess with us no more. Like, is she even somewhere between? Like, is she out of her somewhere between season? And child, no, I am fully in full bloom of the somewhere between season, and that is what brings us here today. I have been fully somewhere between all of the things in this season, which is why I've been avoiding this mic. Like, I've been avoiding recording and all the things because it was going to make me have to like be in my body and really reflect and process what I've really been experiencing and what I've been somewhere between. And child, just wasn't ready to do that. Okay, it's been a lot going on. As y'all know, Him has come out. Okay, Him finally premiered and was in theaters, and you can now, excuse me, Lord, you can now watch Him right there at home if you didn't go see it in theaters for whatever reason, and rent or buy it on, what is it? Is it Apple, on Apple TV, Amazon Prime, do all the things. And I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, it cost whatever. It's the same money you would have spent in the theater where you should have saw it the first time while I was in the theater. But you chose not to see it in the theater, but you want to say that you support me, and then be asking me what I'm doing next and all this other stuff, and you ain't even seen what I did next. You didn't even see what I did last. So go ahead, make that right, make that happen, and do the things. And anyway, so yeah, that happened, that premiered. And then also my episode with Electric Bloom finally came out, which is like so awesome. So excited about that. She's a Disney Channel girl. She was doing the things. And I went to my very first like premiere, like my very first like premiere in Hollywood. Like, what? Oh my God, it was a lot. And then I did a screening, which was also a lot, and got that sponsored. Shout out to all of my sponsors and any and everybody that gave and donated. So that's like a quick overview of like all the things that's been happening over yonder. But like, those are really big events for me. As amazing as all of these moments have been, it has been some of the most grueling yet transformative moments of my life, because I know for a fact that I've literally been somewhere between who I am and who I've never been before, who I am and who I've always dreamed of being. I've been enjoying and learning how to navigate. I've also like been in the midst of like working through beating myself up for the things that I didn't know, because I am not yet the woman that I would like to be, or the woman that I feel like I needed to be to rise to the occasion of these moments, which has been a really hard pill for me to swallow. And so, yeah, like I've been avoiding hopping on here and recording and talking, because that would mean I would have to face myself. Somewhere between is all about me doing that, all about me being transparent, and honest and yes, transparent and honest and hopeful in the midst of navigating these somewhere between seasons. I couldn't bring myself to come on here and like talk about it because I'm also one of those people that like, I can't talk about something while I'm in it. Like, I have to talk about it while once I'm past it. And I actually had I went to dinner with this guy one time, and he read me for filth and like basically told me that, and I was like, you're not telling me that I already know. Like, yeah, I know that I don't talk about what I'm going through while I'm going through it. Yeah, I want to talk about it once I have been through it, Or if you're really close with me, like, yes, sharing how I'm feeling or how I'm navigating something feels like me letting you in the kitchen while I'm like cooking, while all the ingredients are out and it's messy and stuff is everywhere and it don't look like it's really gonna come together. Like, it could be nasty, it could be really good, but who knows? But we ain't gonna find out till you put it in the oven and you take it out. You know what I mean? And so it just kind of feels like a very sacred space between like me and God. And so I don't let everybody up in it. I don't want you to judge my mess, and I don't want you to discount how great I am or how great I'm going to be just because you see how messy it is right now. Because best believe I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to clean it up. We going to get it together. All these ingredients have gone into the pot, and when it come out, it's going to be delicioso. But not everybody can see the beauty in the mess, right? Not everyone can see the collateral beauty of the transformation, of the purification, of the refining, because that is exactly what it is. And so anyway, child, I just couldn't even get on here and talk to y'all about it, but this is also what Somewhere Between is about, right? That's what this is for, and it's for me to do. So I'm so happy that, we are so back and we're getting to do the things because I needed it. So yeah, what I've been processing, right? Like I said, I was beating myself up for not being able to show up in this season in the way that I imagined that I would. I was beating myself up for not knowing the things that I honestly had no way of knowing until I got in it. I was beating myself up because I recognized that my default is to shrink instead of rise in a moment when the pressure is on, or I'm in a situation and it's fight or flight. And I had to realize I was holding myself to an impossible standard because I've never been put in these situations before, been put in this environment before to allow that pressure to birth the version of me that I want to become. And Pastor Torrey said this in his sermon, which was like so good, but he was just like, you have to allow yourself to go through the pressure of what you are experiencing and the discomfort and all the other things in order for that version of you to like have an opportunity to be birthed, because there's no way for them to rise up if you keep like alleviating the pressure or running from the pressure as soon as it's on, or as soon as it gets hot, or as soon as it gets hard. How are you going to build that muscle? How are you going to allow yourself to become that version of yourself if you don't walk through the fire that is required for them to walk through for you to be that person? Pressure literally forms diamonds. As I was sitting in it, all I could see was what I didn't get right. All I could see was everything that I felt like I got wrong, everything that I felt like slipped through the crack. I was expecting myself to show up as someone that I've never had to be before. I've never had to do these things before. I've never navigated. I've never been in these spaces before, in these rooms before, had these opportunities before. And as much as we be like, and I feel like I talked about that in one of the previous episodes. So go back and listen. But I talked about it in one of those episodes about how like we be so worried about catching the ball that you don't know what to do when you get the ball. And so you can't just be focused on catching it, that you have to like know what to do when you get the ball, right? And so as much as I felt like I prepared for the thing, there were still things that I didn't know, and I had to show myself grace for the things that I didn't know, that I could only know that I didn't know by going through the moment. And it's like, what do you do? Wow, I'm getting emotional, because it's like, what do you do when all the preparation that you've done and all the work that you've done and doing this and trying to make sure that you have this to do this and that to this, that you asked all the right questions and all this other stuff, and it's still not enough to protect you from the obstacles that you could have never seen coming. So it made me feel like I wasn't ready for the blessing. It made me feel like I wasn't ready and prepared to handle it. And in the midst of that, I wanted to hide. Like, I've never been one of those people. Like, I've had like friends in the past that are just like, I want to hide from social media. I want to deactivate my Instagram. It felt very uncomfortable for me to be presenting as if like I was having this like wonderful successful moment, but feeling like a failure behind closed doors. And like I said earlier, I'm a person that I like to process my things in private and and I never like to present like everything is gravy when it's really not, like when it's really a hot mess and it's nasty and it's really not sweet, but I felt like I had to do that. because the moment called for that. And what do you do when you still have to be seen when you want to hide? My career, basically, like, it really depends on self-promotion. Quite literally, self-promotion. You know, like, I ain't got no publicist, I ain't got no PR person yet. In the name of Jesus, you know, it's all gonna come when it's supposed to come. And so, like, all these things have to be manufactured by me, and so I still have to show up, and I still have to put the thing on. I remember I was telling Renee, I got an email that basically something that I thought was taken care of wasn't taken care of, and I literally messaged her. And I remember breaking down because I was just like, I hate this version of myself because I feel like she's not doing a good job. And y'all know it's not a somewhere between episode if I don't cry. So get over it. Welcome. Hello. Well, I was just like, I don't feel like she's doing a good job. And she quickly gathered me, right? Like, she quickly gathered me and was like, what? No, you're doing a great job. Da, 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 da. Like, she's doing the best that she can. And I remember saying, well, it's not enough. And I was like, it's not enough. And I told her, I was like, well, clearly the next version of whoever I am needs to clock in, because she is late for her shift, because this version of who I am has done all that she can do, has used every tool that she could use, and is tired of getting slapped in her face and beat up on the shift that was never supposed to be hers. Woo! She is tired. Like, girl, hurry up, clock in. You was late. And as I'm like, I can joke about it, you know, now, but as I reflected on it in preparation, you know, for recording, I remember I had to apologize to myself because, and I'm going to get emotional again because that's my business and this is my podcast and I can do what I want. Call me a crybaby all day long. At least my heart isn't cold as ice like some of you other people. So I had to apologize to myself, I had to apologize to her, to this version of myself, because I was like, that's not fair. And don't talk to her like that when she's literally doing her best. Like, she's using everything that she knows. And in actuality, when I look back on the moments that I felt most disappointed in myself in, I realized that I was being so resilient because I didn't quit. Like, she didn't quit. Yes, she got slapped. Yes, she got knocked down, but she still got back up and she tried again, and she used everything that she had to navigate those moments. So how dare I speak to her like that? She not only stood in that moment for you, she stood in that moment for all the versions of me that are to come and that have ever been. And so how dare I talk to her or discount her just because she didn't handle it the way that I would have liked her to, that the way that the Heather of tomorrow and the future Heather would have handled it. I ain't her yet. We not in the future. We right here in the present. And this Heather only knew what she knew. This Heather still tried and was still there and was still asking the questions and still pushing. And yeah, did it hurt? Yeah, did she have to go to the bathroom a couple of times and cry and wipe her tears and pull herself together and talk herself through panic attacks and talk herself through getting several no's? Yes, she had to do all those things, but she was still here and those moments still happened. Not only did those moments still happen, you look good and everything got done well. At that, just because it wasn't at the level of excellence that you will be at tomorrow, that does not mean that it was not still good today. I remember talking, you know, again, talking to Renee, she asked me, you know, she was just like, do you feel like you're a safe space for you? And I was like, actually, I am, because I had to take really good care of myself. And no, that didn't look like bubble baths. No, it didn't look like, you know, massages and all this other stuff. It looked like me having to say, hey guys, I need to go to my apartment for 2 hours and be alone. I need to take a minute, and gathering myself and crying or doing whatever it is that I needed to do to you know, regroup, to acknowledge what I was feeling, and and that's what you have to do. It's like in this somewhere between, right? In the I don't know who else is like feeling like this or going through this, right? As you are finding yourself in the thing that you prayed for, in the rooms that you dreamt of, and being met with what feels like, you know, harder obstacles or opposition or whatever it is. What I offer and what I, you know, learned myself is that, yeah, like, you gonna have to wipe your tears and console yourself and put yourself back out there before you even feel like you're ready. You're going to have to keep putting yourself out there. You're going to have to keep throwing yourself in the pit, you know what I mean, in order to get to the victory, in order to get to the results, because the victory is already ours. It's already ours. Oh my God, I love the new Woman Evolve song, because it says, he's given me authority to fight from the victory. And it's about time I used it. And just because you're using it doesn't mean that it's going to feel good all the time, right? Okay, boom. So cute little story, right? For example, boom. So in the midst of all this, I was getting my wax done. Shout out to my wax girl, Olivia. I love her down, period. If you're in the LA area, get into her. Black owned, black woman, doing the things, making it happen. Love her down, period. And sorry to the men's that watch this, but this what we be going through. So listen, I'm gonna make it all connect. Just bear with me, okay? So anyway, low pain tolerance, all the things, and in my mind, I'm like, the longer I be getting waxed, it's gonna get better, right? It gotta get better. Like, why is it not getting better? She said, it may feel just as painful as before, but your skin is actually so much better than ever. And I said, hold on, there's a word in that. Okay, there's a word in that. Come into the room, TD. And I was just like, girl, I said, that's so applicable to what is happening in this season of my life, where the pain still feels the same. It still hurts. I'm still having to go through these growing pains. And even though the pain is the same, like, my skin is actually reacting better. We're not coming up against the same issues that we were coming up against before, even though there are still some things that, we got to dig into and, and get up out of there, like my ingrown, because, ingrown girlies, it's fine. Ingrown girlies unite. It's fine. Anyway, child, we get so close on here. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I had to connect it full circle to what I was experiencing. And I was just like, yeah, God never promised that it would be painless. Transformation is not painless, and just because you are experiencing some level of discomfort and pain does not mean that you are not, in fact, growing. You're not sitting in that situation in the same way that you were before, right? You've learned new things. You are not the same person that you were before going through these things. And even though it doesn't feel like you are equipped, or like your pain tolerance is better, like you're able to, better handle those things, you are. Everybody else can see you're actually stronger than you've ever been before. You're actually wiser than you've ever been before. You are actually in the position that you prayed you would be in. The growth can be just as painful, but it's proof that you're healing better and you're healing stronger. You're developing new skin. You're tougher, you're wiser, you're better, you're stronger, you're more equipped. The way that they got you that last time ain't gonna be the same way that they got you. This ain't gonna be the same way that they get you next time. Next time when it rolls around, next time you have X, Y, and Z opportunity, you're gonna walk into it knowing things and being prepared better than you were this time going in, right? When she said skin, it made me think about, the scripture in Mark 2:22, where it says, no one pours new wine into old wineskins. And we must, you cannot ask God for new wine, for new opportunities, for new blessings, for new X, Y's, and Z's, and expect to carry that new thing in an old thing. Your old skin can't handle it. You have to shed that skin. You have to shed it. And the shedding of the old wineskins is hard because then you don't even realize that you have to give up parts of yourself that you really love, that you really like, but you can't exist like that where God wants to take you. And you have to be stretched, just like it says in Isaiah 54, stretch your tent curtains wide, enlarge the place of your tent. Stretch your tent curtains wide. You will stretch out to the left and to the right. You will. But that stretching, ain't nobody said that the stretching was going to be comfortable. But baby, once you are stretched, you are going to be flexible to hold all that new wine and all those new opportunities and all those new things that you've been praying for God to give you. And so we cry and we whine and we say, God, it hurts and I don't know if I can handle it. And it's like, you're right, you can't. You can't, because he's stretching you into the version of yourself that you're gonna be, that you need to be, the version of yourself you've never been before. So of course it's gonna hurt, and of course it's gonna be uncomfortable, and of course you're gonna get some things wrong, and and a lot of times you gotta get something wrong in order to get it right. You never knew that it was wrong before. You just found that out, and now you know what's right. So boom, that's what expansion is. It's what it feels like to be expanded, right? And the old you was not built to carry the blessings of the new you. Been this balancing act, right? Of me acknowledging and honoring the resilience and relentlessness of the woman that I am today, while also not being afraid to take those steps forward to walk in to the woman that I've always wanted to be, and the version of myself that I know it's time for me to be. Like, it's time for me to stop being timid. It's time for my default to stop being to shrink. It's time for my default to start being, to walk in authority, to walk in shameless audacity. I've done it before. It's just time to do it again in new territory, because sometimes it's not even the fact that like that you aren't doing the thing. It's just you've never done it in this space before. And so you're questioning if it's going to be enough, but you ain't going to find out until you do it. And even if it's not, God will make it enough where we come to the end of ourselves is where God can take over and multiply and magnify. And honestly, that's my prayer, right? Especially when I'm stepping into like roles or things that I've never done before that like petrify me. I'm always like, you know what, Lord, I'm going to leave room for you. I'll leave room for you because I don't know what I'm doing. I am petrified. I feel like a fish. I feel like a small fish in a big pond, but I pray for big ponds. I prayed for a big pond. I prayed that I wouldn't be the biggest fish in the pond. I prayed that I would be amongst giants. I prayed that I would, because in order for me to grow to be as big as I want to be, you have to surround yourself around those things that call that out of you. So when it is being called out of you, you can't ignore the call. You can't run from the call. You got to rise to it and use what you got, because I'm telling you, God will meet you in that moment and allow a strength like never before to rise up on the inside of you so that you can access the power that has been waiting to be accessed in you all along. You don't even and I was about to say, you don't even know who you could be. But in actuality, we do be knowing. We be knowing. You are actually the only person that knows the fullness of who you are and who God has called you to be. You are the only person that knows that. And so when those opportunities come for you to rise in that, yeah, it might be shaky at first, but step up in it. Step up in it. See how it feels. You can't break your shoes in if you don't never walk in them. You got to walk. You got to stumble. You got to fall. But most importantly, you got to get back up. Yeah. Okay. I feel like I'm kind of beating a dead horse. Oh my God, it makes me think. I think that's a Jacqueline Carr song where she's like, if it had not been for the breaking, I never would have been ready for the making. If it had not been for the beating, I would have never known how anointed I could be. If it had not been for the shaking, I wouldn't have been able to walk into my destiny. He is preparing me for greater. Greater is coming. That's the name of the song. Greater is coming. Such a great song. And the pain is not punishment. It is preparation. And it's hard to see it like that in the moment while you're going through it. But what we don't realize is that the version of us that is being birthed in that moment, the next time that same obstacle comes, it'll be nothing for them to walk through that. It'll be nothing for them to maneuver that. There'll be new obstacles to overcome that they'll be equipped for and ready for. Every level does get harder. But the reward is even greater, and you get that much closer to that victory. You get that much closer to walking in and living in that dream and that goal that you always wanted to. That much closer. It's like, why would you be in the 6th grade doing 2nd grade math? Why would we be doing that? We're not going to be doing that, because then how'd you get to the 6th grade? By just doing 2nd grade math, unless somebody was just passing you on. Which is part of the issue that we have come to with our with our schooling. But that's a whole other conversation because I'm sorry, I don't want to just get passed along. I don't want to just get a passing grade. Don't pass me along unless I got it. Unless I'm ready to actually be in that grade. In the same way that we are watching these kids in our education systems right now, in our schools, be passed along without having the proper education and understanding and comprehension that they need in order to actually go to the next grade, is the same way that you want God to bring you to the next level of your life and you are not ready. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. Unless he starts testing you on the harder things, unless he starts giving you the harder math problems to solve, you're not going to be ready to be at the level that he wants you to be at, that you're being called to be at. Because it's time for you to go to the next level. It's time. But God forbid, like I always say, God forbid you get to the next level and honey, you don't know how to read. God forbid you get to the next level and honey, you don't know how to do algebra. What do you mean? What do you mean? God forbid you get to the next level, child, and you don't know the basics. Anyway, becoming isn't about being ready. It ain't got nothing to do with being ready. It ain't got nothing to do with that. You're going to learn as you go. There's some things you just got to learn as you go. And as you are facing that lion, as you are facing that giant, you got to look at that giant and say, all right, let's go. Let's dance. And not be like, you know what? I'm going to try this again tomorrow. You know what? Maybe actually not this one. Maybe another one, because I actually don't want to do this anymore. I actually don't want to do this anymore. You can't say that when your kids are here and you pray for that family. You can't say that when the spouse is there. You know what I mean? Like, you can't say that when you have the employees now. You can't say that when there are people who are depending on you to do the thing. You can't say that when the moment that you've prayed for comes. You can't run. I mean, you could, but you're not a coward. We ain't about to back down for no fight. I'm gonna tell you right now, I would, Lord, hold on. And you know what? Actually, let me say this because I've actually been doing it. I would rather lose and have fought with everything that I got than win and not have given anything. That's what makes the victories so delicious and so worth winning. Because I know what it took me to win it. I know what it took me to get on the other side of this victory. Those are the ones that we cherish the most, not the ones that come easy. And I had to remind myself that I told God that I would rather take the big no's than be taking small yeses and getting nowhere. Keep it then. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes the little yeses keep us a truck. Okay, the little yeses keep the little train moving. Don't take the small yeses in replacement of trying for the big one because you're afraid of getting the big no. Get the big no. There have been a lot of things that I swung really hard at, and I missed, or I didn't get it, or whatever the case may be. But at least I know I swung, and everybody else could tell that I swung with everything that I had. All in all, becoming is not about being ready. It's not about knowing all the things before you get there. It's about being willing. It's about being willing to fall on your face. It's about being willing to face the giant. It's about being willing to face the problem, to face the issue, to face whatever it is that scares you and see what happens. Because either you're going to sink or you're going to swim. Something going to happen. But at least we found out. And at least we don't have to wonder what would happen if I faced that giant. What would happen if I didn't run away from the thing that scared me? What would happen if I stayed a little longer? What would happen if I raised my hand? What would happen if I tried again? What would happen if I gave it everything that I had? And you find out. And as a perfectionist, you cannot perfect your way into your next season. It doesn't work like that. In actuality, I think we all arrive to our next with some bumps and bruises. Being like, whoo, wow, we made it. It's Romans 5:3-5. It says, not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, character, and character, hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us. You have to persevere through the suffering. And through you persevering, you build a stronger character. And through your character, you have a new lens and a new perspective of how you can see it, which gives you hope. Which gives you the hope for tomorrow, and a hope and a knowing and a freaking knowing in yourself. And then what is possible. Oh my God. The analogy that I thought of was like how I was like, I wonder if it is this difficult for a butterfly to crawl out of their cocoon. Like, I wonder how difficult it is for a butterfly to crawl out of their cocoon. Does the cocoon just dissolve? No, they have to literally, like, I don't know if you've seen it, but like they have to literally like crawl and like fight their way out of the cocoon, like quite literally. And for some of us, that's what is going to be required for you to become the new you. And even in the midst of that, you can clearly see that it's a butterfly that's coming out of the cocoon, but it's still having to fight its way out of shedding that cocoon. And as hard as it may be to get out of that cocoon, they get out of it. And then they soar and they fly and their wings span. Because the other alternative is that they stay in the cocoon. But like, what happens if they stay in the cocoon? They die. That's not an option. It's not an option for a butterfly to stay in the cocoon because they are no longer a caterpillar. They cannot stay in the cocoon. They are no longer a caterpillar. They will literally suffocate and die. I just made that up. Like, maybe go read a science book. It'll say it in there. But I imagine that they would just suffocate and die. And you don't want to suffocate and die. You've come too far. You've already been transformed. The evidence of it is already there, that you are exactly who you have been waiting to be. You just gotta crawl up out of that cocoon to spread your wings and fly, but it's gonna take you fighting still. Again, you staying in that cocoon is not an option. You trying to revert back to a caterpillar would be ridiculous. Please. You know how long it took you to become a butterfly? You think we about to revert now? Absolutely not. Now we got stuff to do. It's time for us to spread our wings. We just got to fight to spread them. So yeah, if you're in a similar season of stretching and doing the things, and God is calling you to be, you know, somewhere between who you once were and who he's calling you to be, or who you've never been before. Or if you're in this season of, you know, stretching and expansion, and the next version of you may be a little late for her shift, show yourself some grace. Because let me tell you something, when she clock into her shift, it's over with. It's done. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's done. Everything that you push through will be nothing to her. Because I'm going to tell you right now, this has been one of the hardest years of my life. Oh my goodness. Like, and I feel like I say that every year, but like quite literally 2025, you whore. Sorry. Can I even say that? I mean, it's my podcast. I'll say what I want. So as the pressure builds, don't turn the heat down. Leave it where it is. Leave it where it is. Hold on just a little while longer. Just a little while longer. Push through. Give yourself the opportunity to rise to it. And I feel like another thing, and I'll leave on this, is that I think part of the issue isn't that I'm not even the version of myself that like I want to be. It's just that I keep seeing myself that way. And I'm not that girl, actually. Like, actually, she's been clocked out. She's been clocked out. I just haven't given myself the opportunity to fully rest and exercise in the new version of me and in the woman that I've become. And it's time to do that. It's time to use that access. It's time to use that newfound strength, that new wisdom. It's time to put pen to paper and try and see what happens. At least you're seeing how far you can stretch with these new wineskins. Because that's the other thing too. When you do get new wineskins, you can't be looking for old wine. And sometimes we get new wineskins and we want that old wine. And that's not why we got the new wine. We could have kept the old wineskins if we were just going to get the old wine. And that's not what you're supposed to be doing. But because we're sometimes too afraid to test the limits and the fullness of our new wineskins, we just go back to what we're comfortable with knowing we could get. And that's not fair to all that you've been through, to not even try to go for that new wine, to not even make yourself open and available to receiving the new wine. Do yourself a favor. Receive it. Do yourself a favor. Walk in it. The shoes are broken in, baby. Now it's time to walk in them. It's time. It's time. We are quite literally so back, and it feels good. It feels really good. So I'm excited to exercise, and test out these new wineskins, with y'all, and test out how far my wings can take me. And if that means that I got to pause sometimes, and we're going to pause. If that means that I got to, land a couple of times to regain my strength, and that's what we're going to do. And we're going to get back up. We're going to fly again, whatever that means, whatever that looks like. With that being said, thank you for clicking on whatever you clicked on today, listening wherever you're listening, and I pray that God bless you and keep you until we meet here again, right here somewhere between. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Take care of yourself, be kind to yourself, show yourself grace, celebrate yourself for all that you've done and all that you accomplished, because it wasn't no small feat. What you sitting in things that you wasn't sitting in before. You're doing things you used to cry to God about allowing you to do, and look at you now, period. So acknowledge that. We accept the things that we cannot change, but we work to change the things that we can. So let's make it happen, period. Cheers to you. Cheers to me. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, all the things. And I'm going to see y'all in the next video. And if you really miss me that much, make sure that you stream, rent, or buy him. It's on Apple TV. On Apple TV and Amazon and Electric Bloom, period. Those are the things. That's all I got. Until next time, I'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace up. A-Town down. Yeah. Yay! We did it! We are so back. Cheers.